Welcome to the Chronicles Reports. I am your host, Chronicles. Today, we are diving deep into a story that sits at the intersection of modern warfare, high-stakes diplomacy, and the very fuel that keeps your lights on. We are living through a pivotal moment in contemporary history, where the energy that powers our civilization is being used as the ultimate geopolitical lever. Imagine a city you've likely never heard of, Ras. This is a sprawling 55-kilometer industrial giant in Qatar, encircling the world's largest artificial harbor. It is not merely a port. It is the beating heart of the global energy market, responsible for roughly one-fifth of the entire global supply of liquefied natural gas, or LNG. But right now, that heartbeat is flatlining. The world's energy markets are staring down the barrel of a catastrophe. Following the start of U.S. and Israeli air campaigns against Iran, Qatar's infrastructure, once thought untouchable, came under immediate threat. Within days, Qatar did something that sent shockwaves through the halls of power in London, Beijing, and Washington. They declared force majeure. To understand the gravity of this situation, we must look at the geography. The Middle East remains the world's primary gas station, with roughly 30% of the world's oil flowing through a single narrow choke point, the Strait of Hormuz. When the United States and Israel moved toward what many call their final showdown with Iran, the stakes were existential for the global economy. While Gulf nations like Saudi Arabia and the UAE tried to signal neutrality, insisting that U.S. bases on their soil not be used for offensive strikes, Iran played a different strategic hand. Instead of sparing its neighbors, Iran utilized long-range drones and ballistic missiles to send a message. They struck the Ras Tanura refinery in Saudi Arabia, taking 1/6 of Riyadh's export capability offline, and hit the Fujairah terminal in the UAE. Iran's strategy is a calculated zero-sum game. The reasoning behind this argument is simple yet devastating. If Iran's ability to participate is destroyed, they will ensure the entire global energy industry goes down with them. In this context, the weapon isn't just the missile. It's the market price of gas. Let's get into the educational core of this report. Why is this crisis different from every other Middle Eastern conflict in history? The answer lies in the technical difference between oil and LNG. Oil is resilient. It can be stored easily, rerouted, and produced by many different nations. LNG, liquefied natural gas, however, is a different beast entirely. To turn gas into a liquid for transport, it must be cooled to a staggering minus 162 degrees Celsius. This process requires massive, specialized infrastructure that is incredibly difficult and expensive to create. For years, global planners, especially in Europe, have been weaning themselves off Russian energy, turning instead to LNG. This reliance was built on a reasonable assumption that a major war involving Iran, Israel, and the U.S. was essentially impossible. That assumption has failed. Because it takes 4 years to build a new LNG terminal, there's no quick fix. When a hub like Qatar goes offline, there's no spare supply to tap into. Let's explore the linguistic and cultural roots of the term Qatar, invoked, force majeure. The term comes from French, literally meaning superior force. In international law and commerce, it refers to acts of God or unforeseeable circumstances that prevent a party from fulfilling a contract. Culturally and historically, the use of this term by a sovereign state is a powerful signal. It tells the world the situation is beyond our control. The historical roots of this argument lie in the shift of energy sovereignty. By declaring force majeure, Qatar is signaling that the superior force isn't nature, but the geopolitical fallout of regime change politics. This illustrates how modern political instability can strip even the wealthiest nations of their agency over their own resources. The impact on your daily life is immediate. The morning after Qatar's announcement, natural gas prices in Europe jumped by 40%. But the reach is even further. Over 80% of Qatari LNG goes to Asia, to China, India, Japan, and South Korea. We are entering an all-out bidding war. When supply vanishes, the nations with the deepest pockets win, while the developing world is left in the dark. This creates a massive shift in modern politics, where energy security becomes the primary driver of national policy. And then there's the Russian factor. With Qatar offline, Russia's shadow fleet of tankers is already moving sanctioned gas through the Mediterranean. Europe now faces a deal with the devil: see their economies crater and their citizens freeze, or lift sanctions on Russian gas to survive the winter. This illustrates the potential influences on the leaders making these arguments. They are caught between moral high grounds and the survival of their states. This isn't just a news story. It is a turning point in how we understand global security. The conventional wisdom that a war like this was impossible has been proven wrong. While the United States may profit as a leading LNG producer, selling its supply at a tasty premium, even American production cannot fill the massive hole left by Qatar. As we watch the Strait of Hormuz, we are watching the future of the global economy being decided by drones and insurance premiums. The world can muddle through oil shocks, but the LNG crisis is a cold, hard reality that is only going to get worse before it gets better. This has been a special report from the Chronicles Reports. History isn't just in the past. It's happening in the pipelines of today.